Hey guys, I'm back with another Batmobile, and this time we're going to be looking at the Mattel 2014 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the Batmobile from Batman Arkham Knight. Now, I am a big fan of the Rocksteady games and of the Arkham universe. I've said it before, I think Rocksteady's design of the Arkham games is the quintessential version of the Batman universe. The Arkham Asylum Batmobile is one of my all-time favorites, and I love the design of this new no-nonsense Batmobile from the upcoming game. This just came in the mail, and I'm really excited about this one, so let's get to it and start off by taking a quick look at the packaging. Now, there are two layers to the packaging. The outer box has this convenient carrying handle, so if you did pick this up at the convention, I guess you could easily carry it around all day, kind of like luggage. The print on the outer box is very simple, but there's a different image on each side of the box, showcasing all four angles of the Batmobile. You also get an overhead view. And this outer carrying box comes off, and you have the actual packaging underneath, which is this awesome window box. You see there's a DC Multiverse Batman figure in the foreground, and the Batmobile is displayed in battle mode. The window box gives us a full view of the Batmobile, but it also has some great prints on it. You know, aside from the Arkham Knight logo and the information at the bottom, there are these images of bats all around, kind of like we're in the Batcave. It also highlights a few of the action features and schematics. It's very much like the battle mode trailer that we saw. You remember in the trailer they gave us a breakdown of some of the Batmobile's gameplay features. It really showed us what we could do with this Batmobile and how Batman is literally ready for battle. Aside from the Vulcan cannon, it shows you the vertical halogen lights. And this side with the energy output has a slot where you can test the main button on this Batmobile and try out some of the light and sound effects. On the back, you have this cool, almost X-ray-like image of the Batmobile, and it also lists some of the schematics and features for both Pursuit and Battle Mode. And when you take off the window box, you're left with what I guess could be used as a display or a diorama. There's another panel in the back with even more schematics, and then there's this white floor that kind of reminds me of the ceiling in the makeshift Batcave in the Dark Knight movie. It's pretty cool. So, aside from the Batmobile, you also get this 4-inch scale DC Multiverse figure of Batman. Now, I'm not really a big fan of these figures. You know, to me, it's that sort of typical Mattel cookie-cutter production value. They're oftentimes the same figure or the same buck that's simply been repainted. I think he's supposed to have a serious expression on his face, but mine looks a bit more cross-eyed. Now, it's not a bad figure. You know, it's nicely detailed for what it is. They've released a few of these figures of Batman, and this one looks nothing like the images that we've seen of Batman in Arkham Knight. It is an Arkham Batman, but it's not from the Arkham Knight video game. Mattel is planning on releasing a series of Arkham Knight figures, so I have no idea why they didn't just release one with this exclusive collectible. Well, I know why they didn't, but you know, for the price point, and given that this is an exclusive collectible, it would have been nice to actually get the Arkham Knight version of Batman with this Batmobile. Now, the difference between this one and the other Batman figures that have been released is the cloth cape, which is important because you can open up the canopy and position Batman here to sit inside. The canopy flips up and takes a little bit of maneuvering to get him in. Now, there's no detail inside the cabin. It's just a chair with a flat black surface, but, you know, it looks nice. Close the canopy. Now, the windows are tinted, so you can't really see Batman inside the way you can in some of the screenshots that we've seen of the Batmobile in the game. I think Mattel did a decent job with this Batmobile. The majority of it is cast in this black plastic, and there are certain sections, like parts of the engines there, with this gunmetal color. There are a few spots that are also painted with silver to make it look like the Batmobile's been through a little bit of damage. The tires are also cast in that silver gunmetal color. And, you know, the tires are very detailed. You can see that it has the bat symbol there in the center. Now, it's not exactly like what we've seen. And that can pretty much be said about this Batmobile overall. It's not an exact replica. I'm guessing because of the way they had to make it work, in order to transform from pursuit to battle mode, certain parts ended up being a bit bulky. You can particularly see this on the back and front fenders. The back fender sits out a little too far, and the front fenders are a little too high. Now, the images that we've seen of the Batmobile in the game, they're of this massive tank-like Batmobile, right? But it's still very sleek and very aerodynamic. Again, I can only guess that Mattel had to make a few compromises with the design in order to accommodate some of those features. And this Batmobile really does have some cool action features. It has moving parts, it has lights, it has sound effects. Some of the obvious features are the opening canopy, and of course the wheels roll. And we'll talk more about that in a second here. And on the back of the Batmobile, you can see there's a button that activates different light and sound effects. So the first time you hit the button on the back, you hear what sounds like a swarm of bats. Kind of like you're about to leave the Batcave. And that same button also activates the halogen lights on the front. You press it again, and you get the sound of the engine revving up. When you press it a third time, you get the sound like the engine is accelerating. The third time also activates the red flame on the kinetic turbine exhaust port. Pretty cool. Now, to transform the Arkham Knight Batmobile into battle mode, you can pull outward on either the front or the back fenders. And when you pull away, you get a sound effect, and it releases all of the wheels. And now, the Batmobile can pretty much roll in any direction. Something cool which we've seen in the gameplay is when the Batmobile is in battle mode, the wheels allow it to move 360. It can move in virtually any direction. And in the game, when the Batmobile is under fire, we see these red streaks. They're kind of like warning trails detected by the Batmobile. It shows you where you're about to get hit, so you can pretty much move in any direction to get out of the line of fire. One of the big action features is the battle turret. You can press on this top panel and trigger the weapons to pop up. The side weapons flip up, and you have this kinetic energy cannon that extends outward. Each side weapon has a button on the back that activates a light and a sound effect. On the right, you have the non-lethal riot suppressor. It's kind of like a Gatling gun sound. On the left side, you have the Vulcan gun. And when you hold the fire button down for this one, the light eventually turns red, and it simulates the gun overheating. I'm guessing this is a feature in the game, so you're not able to fire indefinitely. We've seen this with some of Batman's gadgets in the past two games. Once you use it, you gotta give it some time to recharge. And I guess it's the same thing here. Now, it has one more sound effect. If you press both buttons at the same time, it activates the sound of the cannon firing. Pretty cool. And of course, the back button still activates the other light and sound effects when it's in battle mode. To go back to pursuit mode, you push the fenders back in. You get another transformation sound effect. And you just got to make sure you click the wheels back in place on the front and on the back here. And for the battle turret, the two sides fold under, you push the front cannon in, and it just pops back into place. In closing, I think this is a pretty good recreation of what we've seen of the Arkham Knight Batmobile. Now, this is made by Mattel, so even though they've labeled it as an adult collectible, there is still a toy-like quality to it. It's easily something for adults to collect and for kids to play with. You know, we're talking about Mattel. It's not DC Collectibles or Hot Toys. It's not 100% accurate. The silver lining for this Batmobile is, of course, all of the great features that it has. The transformation from pursuit to battle mode, the light and the sound effects, they're all well done. Is it worth the convention price point? I'm not sure. I've seen it listed on eBay for around $150 and higher, and I definitely think it is not worth that much. I actually got an excellent deal on mine. Including shipping, I didn't pay much more than what it was sold for at the convention. Hopefully, it will be available in stores for a lower price once we get closer to the game's release. And like many of you out there, I cannot wait for this game to come out. This new Batmobile is going to be an awesome addition to the gameplay. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As always, I do hope you take the time to rate, comment, subscribe, and maybe check out some of my other recent videos. So, we've been looking at the Mattel 2014 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the Batmobile from Batman Arkham Knight. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.